I'm delighted to address my own mortality. I've been kind of addressing it my whole life, really. And the 70 thing doesn't faze me. 60 was a bit difficult in the sense that I wasn't sure about the creaky bits. It took me about 2 or 3 years to work out about what I should expect from my own body and what I shouldn't. There were bits that were kind of falling off a little bit. And
Brendan Gleeson might look old physically, but he's still very much young at heart. Well, that's what he believes. At 70, this great actor's tone is still laced with that unmistakable mix of Irish warmth and quiet intensity. With over 34 years in the movie industry, the Hogwarts professor, as he's popularly known, has never shied away from complex roles. But as he's crossed into a new decade of life, he's taking on a more personal subject, mortality. The legacy of Brendan. At a young age, the actor from Dublin had an interest in Irish playwrights like Samuel Beckett. This led him to perform in his high school production of the play Waiting for Godot. He didn't shy away from the work during his high school drama classes. Even as a late bloomer in Hollywood, starting his acting career in his mid-30s, Brendan was still able to carve a place for himself as one of the most versatile actors of his generation. He's known for his supporting roles in films like the Harry Potter film series, The Tragedy of Macbeth in 2023. Now, old age has set in, but he claims he doesn't really feel it. Getting candid on News Talk, Brendan said,
to be driving yourself into a position where you think you're 24 is ludicrous and not sustainable. So I found 2 or 3 that adjustment difficult, whereas I think I know now what I can expect in terms of moving forward, touch wood. The mortality thing will hold off for another little bit.
Writing up his legacy at this old age, all Brendan wants to do now to stay fresh is to find something that would ignite his imagination and satisfy his curiosity. According to him, life has a lot of amazing experiences that make him forget how old he's getting. During an interview with the Sunday Times, Brendan said, quote, "Sometimes the world seems tired, but the fact is you're tired. In reality, there's always something wonderful to see. Somewhere in the world, life is too amazing, and that makes you forget the creaky bits." A brush with death. Brendan has had some dark times hiding behind his jovial personality. The Irish actor has had quite a number of traumatic events in the past, but that hasn't deterred him from seeing the concept of death in a different way. Aside from being molested as a child by a so-called Christian brother in primary school, Brendan has had his fair share of close death incidents when he was a student hitchhiking in Germany. Recalling his story, he said, quote, "His Irish cultural background might be the bedrock of how his old age doesn't faze him, coupled with how confident he is in addressing his own mortality. Irish culture has a tradition of confronting death directly. Ireland's approach to death is somewhat opposite of how it's done in some cultures in England and the rest of the world." Brendan highlighted the custom of holding a wake where people share laughter and memories, which is a different one from the formality and distance of other cultural practices. According to him, avoiding discussions about death misses the point of life. Gleeson's advocacy. Brendan's culture knows how to handle the post-death situation pretty well, but what about when they were still alive? In light of his parents' passing, Brendan decided to play a role in a course that's close to his heart, hospice. Brenda's father and mother passed away at ages 92 and 83 at St. Francis Hospice in Raheny. Speaking on why he involves himself in the fundraising campaign for hospices, Brendan says, quote, "We do post-death really well in Ireland, but maybe not pre-death. And that's where the whole idea of the hospice comes in and why I got involved with it." Before the inevitable comes, the legendary actor is sure to enjoy the hospitality the staff provide at the hospice. He was impressed by the staff there and how they dealt with the process of dying. He says, quote, "Invariably, I felt invigorated by the people there, by the compassion, their professionalism, and the vitality of their attack about an issue that has to be embraced." According to Brendan, hospices are a beacon that display the best of humanity at a time when there's a lot of negativity and anxiety in the world. Quote, "The hospice movement generally has been kind of a little bit of a beacon in the sense that it's given a degree of positivity to the way life is framed, which I find really refreshing," he said. Even at that, the Cavalry star said life and death is an extraordinary concept, and he's still getting away with the latter. He also admitted that he feels he is now in, quote, bonus country. He said, quote, "I think if you're capable of moving around, if you're capable of being, to a certain degree, independent of thought, you can be actively independent in your life. It's utterly bonus country, all the time. I think the longer you keep that in your mind, I mean, I think it's extraordinary that I'm still getting away with it. I honestly do. He also shared in his ignorance of how the two extraordinary concepts work and how he has little control over how he is still alive and well. He said,
You know, and you kind of think of all the things, and you think about people who fell downstairs and killed themselves, and, you know, the most idiotic sort of random things that happen in life that depart people, or you lose your legs in some ludicrous sort of situation, or it becomes very dramatic and people in various situations are harmed. And I'm actually healthy. I said, I don't know how that's happened. I honestly don't.
The old connection with his father. Brendan's father, Frank, might be a strict one, but he also had a personality that brought out the laughter in people, just like his son. Probably the actor took his cheerful persona from his father. Sadly, his father never got the point of his acting career. His father related his career choice to that of a man begging on the street. He said, quote, "My father really didn't know what to make of it. He apparently said to someone after I went full-time, 'Brendan's messing around with the acting.' He just couldn't compute what I was doing at all. Before that, when I used to go to Germany busking as a student, he told a colleague that I was begging on the streets." He also described his father as a man that made his mother smile all the time. Gleeson's 4 sons, Domhnall, Fergus, Brian, and Rory, also had a good relationship with his father, their grandfather. He recalls a time when Fergus was visiting St. Francis Hospice and helping him get ready for bed. Quote, "He used to have 5 or 6 things that he'd count on and put on the bedside table, including his comb, and he used to comb his hair before he got into bed. One night, Fergus asked him why. He said, quote, 'You never know who you might meet in your dreams.' Isn't that lovely?" A life in full. Brendan speaks candidly about life and death, about love, loss, and laughter. He doesn't waste time letting out jokes about the creaky bits of aging, but pairs it with a profound sense of wonder for the world around him. Quote, "Unless you take on board how final death is," he once said, "you really don't get the proper perspective on how delicious life can be." Brendan Gleeson is not retiring, he's getting himself refined for what is to come. He's choosing stories that speak to him, characters that challenge him, and collaborators who inspire him. He appears to be a part of the cast in Amazon's Spider-Man noir TV series in LA. The movie industry is indeed obsessed with youth and speed, but Gleeson's slow-burning legacy stands out. He reminds his fans all over the world that growing older doesn't mean growing stale, and that staying young at heart is not only possible but powerful. Both of his parents, Frank and Pat, spent their final days in St. Francis Hospice in Dublin. However, not once did Brendan feel apart from them since their passing. Quote, "At the moment, I can have a chat at any point with the memory of when my folks were well and not fighting the last throes of life, when they were in their fullness. So I can have the conversation with those entities, and so I feel they're never really gone," he said. Addressing the road ahead, while Gleeson acknowledges it will be tough, he hopes to maintain his dignity. Quote, "So the mortality comes, I'm not looking forward to it. I hope I can maintain my dignity to it mostly, and that I don't go weeping and falling on anybody who come close to me in a pathetic sort of wish to turn back the clock. I think it'll be tough, all that stuff, but that's again come back to the hospice. That's what I love about the hospice, that they contextualize all that stuff." Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite role of Brendan Gleeson's? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.